If we are secure, like in our own families, our own communities, isn't it the human thing for us to spread that same love and that same thing for people on the outside? And this is what Iyanu realizes very quickly, is that, okay, we in here were living this life, but there are other people out there, and it's not just us that need saving. It's like an entire land needs saving. And how do I rise to that occasion to become not just the savior of a city, but the savior of the world? Welcome to the YouNeek Show, where we talk about all things YouNeek Studios, African geekdom, and the business of creators. Alrighty, hello everybody. Welcome to the YouNeek Show. My name is Roye Okupe. I am the CEO and lead writer at YouNeek Studios. Co-host.
Hey, Abaje here, head nerd at the NAIJA Nerds, super fan of all things African when it comes to entertainment and geekdom, fandom, and nerddom globally.
Super fan. All right, we're gonna jump right in today. So yeah, what are we discussing? What's on the agenda?
To be very clear, I have a lot of stuff I'd love to talk about. Roy had to cut too many things out, but we want to keep it tight for everybody, keep it smooth. So as far as things we're going to be talking about, we're going to be getting some more of the State of the Union.
Yes.
And very specifically, what is the latest on Volume 2 of Iyanu? That's the new hit series of Studios.
Yep.
That's something I have questions about. And Roy has
the only
excuses, hopefully not.
No excuses for this one. No excuses, no hiding, no secrecy. I'm just going to come out with everything. Trust me.
All right.
That's a lie, by the way, but let's go.
Okay. So, blunt question.
Yeah.
What is the latest? What's going on? What's happening with that?
Yeah, first of all, for those that don't know, let me just give a very quick summary or synopsis, if you will, about Iyanu. So Iyanu is it's a high concept fantasy story that, you know, features a teenage orphan girl who realizes that she has the same powers as the gods of her people. Funny thing is that this is a land that has been sort of stripped of magic. So as soon as she starts to display her powers, she's exiled by everyone else. The twist is that she's actually the only one that can save the entirety of Yoruba land, which is the world that we're in, from the corrupt, which are basically like berserk animals that are every animal around is literally out to kill human beings. So that sort of set the stage for, you know, what we're doing with the Iyanu. Obviously, it's heavily inspired by Yoruba culture, as obviously it takes place in the fictional Yoruba land. But it's one of my, I would say, just proudest achievements, coming up with this young adult title that features a very young teenage girl doing big things, and having a female heroine that you know, really anybody can identify with. I think, you know, at any point in our lives, we can identify with feeling like we're outcasts or whatever the case may be, and giving something like that powers and being the chosen one, and seeing how she reacts to people that rejected her when she's the only one that can save her, I feel calls for very compelling storytelling. So if you haven't checked out Volume 1, it's out there now in stores everywhere books are sold. But one thing I really want to touch on quickly is just the success from Volume 1. Like literally, we've had, you know, librarians from all over the country, you know, hitting us up on Twitter saying, this is what we've been waiting for.
Mm-hmm.
I can't wait to share this with, you know, our students. And to me, again, it's something that just is very exciting for me, and also humbling to see the reaction. And
the reaction was amazing.
It was.
I think one of the first things that struck me was how this one, not to make the other stories you've told even seem like any, you know, minimize them.
Yeah.
But this story almost seemed to leapfrog all the others into recognition pretty quickly. Like it just went from a nice high level concept to something that was nominated. Like this was nominated for the DMAT, the Dwayne McDuffie Award. For those who don't know, Dwayne McDuffie is the late great Dwayne McDuffie, one of the more celebrated comic book writers and creators, been involved in a number of projects around the world, most famously known for creating Static Shock. Exactly. But there is an award that continues to commemorate his legacy, and that award, this was one of those nominated. Iyanu was Volume 1 was one of those nominated for it, and I think it was nominated with some pretty high
Oh
level
yeah, very,
competition.
very,
But
very, very high level
yeah,
competition. It was one of the my proudest moments as a creator. And I want
well,
to
we
also
were
give
proud for
credit.
you too. Let's just say that.
I want to make sure I give credit to Godwin Akpan, who was the illustrator on that book. It's just a wonderful. It's like reading. It's like going through concept art on each page, like
It
that's
was.
and that's what I wanted for this first book. Was I to feel like people were reading concept art, which for people that don't know, that's like high level art, in terms of just entertainment.
High
But
level, high concept.
yeah, it's
Godwin
yeah
is a very humble dude, and you don't even realize it
he's
until you start getting into it with him and realize just how I think he was caught off guard as well.
Yeah, I mean, he's very humble, but I have to say he's one of the most talented artists, not just in Africa, globally. That's just my own opinion. If you doubt me, go check out his work on Instagram or ArtStation. This guy is a living, legend. So yeah, it's volume one has been very, very well received. Now, like you said, when we first came out with it, at that time, Malika and E.X.O and even the Windmaker were very popular characters, and Iyanu literally shot to number one. It was the highest we've ever made on Kickstarter.
Mhm.
Instantly, like within the first 2 days, it was funded. I think we raised about 35,000 on Kickstarter. Previously, the only thing that I gotten close was the Malika animation at 20,000. So yeah,
Naira, right?
it's
Naira, of course.
oh yeah, naira. Of course, it's naira. Yeah, 20,000 naira. I can't even buy. Can you buy one comic
Oh
with
my
that?
god.
But yeah, let's not get into that.
Hmm.
Yeah, it's volume one is amazing. But yeah, enough about the past. But yeah, get volume one if you haven't. Let's talk about volume two, and yeah, we're raising the stakes with volume two. I think one of the things that immediately you will notice with volume two is that I have Godwin now working with Chimakalu. For those that don't know, Chimakalu did the pencil and inks for the Malika comic books, specifically the Dark Horse Volume 1
Put
comic
together a
book.
dream team.
Yeah, so Godwin is going to be doing the colors. So now we're bringing in high level comic book arts with somebody like Godwin, bringing on that same level of concept art, that coloring genius that he has. But story wise, again, we're taking things to the next level, and I'm very proud to really just say that I can't talk about it too much because I don't want to spoil anything. But if you enjoyed volume one and some of the things that we did with Yoruba land and Iyanu, sort of like leaving the walled city of Elu and going into the wilderness and journeying towards the source, which is her ultimate journey and what she's trying to achieve. Now that we get to see everything outside of the city of Elu, we open up Yoruba land to so many other factions, so many other settlements. You get to see even things that are deeply inspired by Yoruba culture, as well. One of the things that I'm really excited for people to see is this new faction called the People of the Deep, who are people that never stayed within the walls of Elu. They grew up outside with the corrupt animals, and they were able to sort of like form a synergy with these animals and not get harmed. I can't tell you why until you read the book, obviously. But yeah, there's so many exciting things about that. And just real quick, I know I'm starting to trail. Like the reason I mentioned the People of the Deep is that one of the things that if you go into Yoruba history, there's something called Igbo that was close to Ondo. And for people that don't understand Yoruba, Igbo means bush, basically like forest, but Igbo means like deep forest.
The forest of
And
the
that,
forest.
yeah, forest of forest. And that's how I came up with that concept of the People of the Deep and some of the things surrounding their culture. So yeah, it's really amazing and very exciting for me, intertwining mythology and culture into fantasy with Yoruba culture, because obviously I'm Yoruba, and I can't wait for people to check out some of the amazing things that we have there.
So, in what way do you think that fans can expect to see some surprising parallels to that same kind of thinking that maybe the people outside may be the the bad guys or the
Yeah.
good guys? Who's
Hmm.
that kind of role reversal? Who's really the bad guy here in the
Yeah,
story?
no, it's a very interesting concept, and even though even if you look at present days, like we are basically living in our own silos, right, in our own walled houses,
Yeah,
like with COVID and everything. Obviously, it's getting better, thankfully, but it's a very, very peculiar thing, doing something like that in storytelling. And again, at the core of this story, it's really inspired by Yoruba culture. So I want to put that there is a lot that is, especially the Oyo Empire.
Right.
A lot of things that you'll find in there. It's like if you see names like something like even the council, there's something called the Elu Messi. That's directly ripped out from Yoruba culture and Oyo Ile, which was the Oyo Empire. They had a council, called the Oyo Messi, or whatever the case may be. So things like that, for people that understand or are close to Yoruba culture, they'll be able to pick things like that. People that are not to be able to have pleasant surprises, and because what I do is that with each chapter I'd explain where things come from. But I think from volume 1 going to volume 2 and volume 3 and beyond, of volume 3, we're actually even working on that right now. I think people would really appreciate not just reading something that's like you said, like it takes place in prehistoric times, but it's really relevant to our times and really answers the question of like segregating ourselves to just one thing or one space and forgetting about the people outside, or condemning people that we don't know, or it's like even just ignoring people that don't have necessarily the same resources as we do, which is what the people of Elu, that's like their greatest crime. They have these walls that protect them from the outside corrupt animals, but they don't share their technology and their resources, at least immediately, with the people outside. Is that the right thing? If we are secure, like in our own families, our own communities, isn't it the human thing for us to spread that same love and that same thing for people on the outside? And this is what Iyanu realizes very quickly, is that, okay, we in here were living this life, but there are other people out there, and it's not just us that need saving. It's like an entire land needs saving. And how do I rise to that occasion to become not just the savior of a city, but the savior of the world?
Awesome, man. I'd love to ask a little bit more, but we gotta, because of time. But I would say this: everybody watching, make sure you put your hands out there, grab a hold of your very
All your hands
latest
out there.
copy of
Yeah.
go grab your hands, lay your hands on. I was getting lay your hands on Iyanu Volume 2, because that is going to blow the story wide open. Like it's going to open the story up to the level where you begin to realize just how much thought had gone into crafting this world. And we can't wait to see it.
Just real quick, volume 1 is out now. Like I said, volume 2 comes out this fall. So if you want to, you can catch up. Like I said, it's available everywhere: comic shops, bookstores, libraries, Amazon, online, everything. You can even catch it on our app, the YouNeek app. You can read all the chapters there as well. And excited for people to see what we come out with later this year in volume 2.
Alrighty, awesome. Well, I remain Jay Abaje. You can catch me at Nerd and Nerd Guru. You can also catch the rest of our stuff on the NAIJA Nerds. But as Roy said, pretty much anything to do with Iyanu, go to the YouNeek website, get details, and be directed to the right place.
All right, people. Take care.